Tonight I'm going to do a couple videos, perhaps a video on the a variation on the mixture concept called the investment problem. So we're going to look at number 21, 22, 23, and 24. Perhaps we'll get them all in one video. Mainly just going to do the setup for this. And if you would like me to pick a particular problem to work out the solution, I can do that as well. Just let me know in the comments. So we'll start with number 21. Two investments are made totaling $8,800. So we have two unknown amounts that add up to 8,800. So we already know that we have a simple sum of investments. So I'm going to go in here and I know that I have X plus a Y equals 8,800. So I know I've got two different amounts of money, or maybe the same amount of money, but unknown amounts of money adding up to 8,800. Then I know for a particular year, for a certain year, these investments yield $1,326. That means when you invest the money, you get a certain amount of money back. And that's part of the deal for investing money, for giving money to someone so that they can build their underwater paperclip folding machine or whatever it is that they want you to invest in. Then you get money back. Now, one of the investments was in some sort of project that promised to get you 14% back. The other part was in something that promised to give you 16% back. Now, the combination of those two portions of what you invested, the 14% and the 16%, comes together to be the 1,326 combined yield or money that comes back to you. So we have a second equation, which I'm going to call the interest yield sum. And it's the interest yield sum because the X part is going to be, we're going to get 14% of X plus 16% of Y. And that's going to equal $1,326. Let me check to make sure I got that number right. Yes. So I've got that. I'll go ahead and rewrite that in decimal form. Okay, because it's 0.14 X and 16% is 0.16 Y. I'll go through one more step, which is to get rid of the decimals. So if I multiply that by 100, I get just 14x, and that by 100, I get 16y. And I'm going to have to end up with an annoyingly large number here, 132,600. But we can work it all out. This is definitely a case where I would tend to use substitution. Okay, so that's your setup. Work it out and try and solve it. I'm going to ask you to pause the video right now and see if you can work out the setups for number 22, 23, and 24. All right, assuming you have paused the video and you've come back, you would like to see how I did the setup. So number 22, I've got two investments. They are totaling $15,000. So I have my simple investment sum of X plus Y equals 15,000. And then I'm going to have one of those was invested at 9% interest. So they're getting 9% back. The other at 10%. And when you put all the money that came back together, you get 1,432. So we're going to also have the interest yield sum to represent the two parts of the investment and the money that came back from them. So I'm going to say the X is the 9% one. So for X, I've got 9% of what I invested is promised to come back, and 10% of the Y amount I've been promised to get back. And that is going to get me $1,432. And then you can rewrite the whole thing in decimal form. So 0.09, 0.1, and then we can multiply everything out to get rid of the decimals. I multiply everything by 100. So I get 9x and 10y, and this is going to get 2 more zeros because I have to multiply that by 100 as well. But those are non-decimal coefficients, and then you can go on from there. With 23, it's pretty much the same thing. Go ahead, if you haven't done 23 yet, pause and see if you can get 23. And now that you're back, let's do 23. So we are investing $1,150, part of it at 12% and part of it at 11%. Total yield is $133.75. How much was invested at each rate? Well, there were two different investments. They totaled $1,150. So once again, we have a simple investment sum of x plus y equals $1,150. And then we're going to have an interest yield sum, which is going to demonstrate that, show that we're promised 12% back on our X part of our investment and 11% back on our Y part of our investment. And that's going to total $133.75. So 0.12, I'm going to go ahead and skip the part where I write it in as percentages and write it right in as decimals. And that's going to equal $133.75. Okay, and I will multiply everything by 100 to clear out those decimals. And I get 12x plus 11y equals 13,375. Okay, if that made sense, go ahead and solve that one. And I recommend you pause the video if you have not done 24 yet. If you've already done the setup for 24, you can just continue on. So number 24, pause. And you're back, presumably. So having worked that out. So in this one, you've got $27,000 you're investing. Hopefully at this point, you're seeing that they're all pretty much the same structure so far. There are some variations on this theme. But for right now, we're dealing with just a bunch of sums. So we have a simple sum that is two parts that are invested that make a total of $27,000. So our simple sum for this simple investment sum is x plus y equals $27,000. And then we're going to have our x plus y, but our x part was invested at 10%, so 0.1, and our y part at 12%, we're promised 12% back, so 10% times x will get me the amount that I get from that part of the investment back, and 12%, 0.12 times y, the y part of the investment, will get me that part of the interest that I'm going to get back. Now, all that interest together adds up to $2,990 as my yield. And get back here, 2,990. I'm going to go ahead and clear the decimals by multiplying everything by 100 again. Put two more zeros out there. And there's your setup. You've got two equations, x plus y equals 27,000 and 10x plus 12y equals 299,000. And you have the tools to solve it from here. I hope this has helped.